Hi, thank you for joining. My name is Crystal Olivarria, and I'm the founder and CEO of Career Conversationalist. And parents hire me to help their child transition successfully from school to the workforce. And today we're here to continue on with our mini series in regards to finance your kids' college education with $27. And today our topic is a new way to avoid needing a parent loan to afford college tuition for your child. And so, as far as what it is, parent loans are a way to help finance your kids' college education. A lot of times, it might not be reasonable for you to have the full amount of money in your bank account to pay for your kids' college education up front. So, a loan is certainly one option that is available to help bridge that gap between what college costs and what you have. As far as why is it important, is because it is a financing option that does make college affordable so that your child can attend college. And loans are certainly important to think about because it affects your lifestyle, especially if you waited till you were older to have your children and your children are now approaching college age. If you take out a loan and have a parent loan and start making payments, then depending upon how long the payments are, and if you're planning on retiring early, then you need to think about how's that gonna play into your retirement account. Because a lot of times people, when they retire, you might expect your income to go down and you're picking up an expense. So that's something you need to think about as part of your retirement as well, and why loans are important to think about. So what I want to talk about today is, when it comes to parent loans, the difference between having it as a last resort versus a strategy. So typically what happens is, a lot of parents, they don't plan for college because it's scary. It's something you want to avoid. It creates a lot of anxiety, and you're just like you feel like there's not much you can do about it. So you do the best you can with what you have, and then you get to a point, and parent loans are a last strategy to bridge that gap between the amount of money your family needs so that your child can attend school. And so what often happens is, a lot of times parents will tap into their savings accounts, including the retirement accounts, to pay for their kids' college education. And the reason it's so important that you understand the financial aid process is because when you fill out the form and they calculate how much financial aid your child receives, two savings accounts differently. A regular saving account from your bank is viewed as funds to be more available for your kids' college education than retirement funds. And many people don't realize that. They think, oh, well, all money's equal, and it's not. There's a formula, and it's weighted. So basically, some accounts are counted, some aren't, and the accounts that are counted carry varying weights. Another example would be the savings account from you versus your child. Again, yes, they're both calculated into the financial formula, but they're not equal, even though they're both savings accounts. So that's why it's really important to understand the financial aid process and understand parent loans, because at some point it may make more sense for you to have a parent loan than it does to tap into your retirement savings. But again, that's a strategy. That's the difference between these two. You can still, and you may need a parent loan if your kid doesn't get enough scholarships to bridge that gap. But the importance is to understand the difference between needing a parent loan as a last resort versus using it as a strategy. And so that's why I want to talk about worrying doesn't change anything. Because a lot of times, you think, oh, if there's not much you can do, you'll just kind of play it by ear. That's what everybody else does. A lot of people aren't talking about how to afford their kids' college education. And a lot of it is, your friends might be embarrassed about their financial situation, and they might be in the situation you are in terms of being afraid to afford college. And that's not something people typically want to open and share about, is their ability to struggle to afford something that they really want, that they know is important. Afford it, and they just don't want to feel like they're bragging and boasting to other people. And so it's really a touchy subject, and a lot of people just be quiet and they don't share their feelings with other people and the worries and the concerns. And I just want to say that when you worry about it, it doesn't change anything. Because as a result, when you're stuck in worry, oftentimes what happens is time goes by, and then your options run out, and then you're stuck doing whatever you have to do in order to get your kid through college. And that's where parent loans become a requirement rather than a strategy. So I want you to start thinking about this now so you can approach it from a strategy and have different options and understand how's it best going to affect you. What's the best way for your family? So the other part I want to point out is that consistent action produces new results. And what I mean by that is if you want to be able to afford your child's college education using something like grants, scholarships, other that are out there and that are available, it starts with you because your child is looking up to you. Your child automatically assumes that you're going to help pay for the college education if you want them to go to college. Furthermore, as a parent, you pretty much paid for your child their entire life. So your child is used to you being a provider in terms of providing food, clothing, gifts for the holidays. Your child just expects you to provide college as well because that's something you want your child to do. And so your child might not understand the importance of it unless they see you taking consistent action. And consistent action can be something as simple as having a conversation and talking about it. Simple as, I'm learning about financial aid and this is interesting, or, just making a couple little comments here and there, throughout the week will help your child get thinking about, well, what can they do to help afford college? Like they see you taking action. So then it gets your child thinking about, well, what can I do? Well, if my mom's learning about financial aid, well, maybe I can learn about scholarships. And a lot of kids are worried about being able to afford college. A lot of kids know what their parents reasonably can and can't afford. They see it, especially if, the lifestyle changes. Maybe you're not buying as many groceries, or, maybe you run into an economic slump and you start buying generic brands versus brand name items. Your kid picks up on that kind of stuff. Your kid picks up on when you have extra money, you buy extra goodies and there's extra snacks, or you take more family vacations. Your child knows. So, it's just a way to communicate with your child in a way that when you're consistently seeking out answers, your child will consistently seek out answers. And your child's like, well, if my parents willing to spend thousands of dollars to help me, then maybe I should help myself and do something as well, especially if my parent recommends me getting scholarships. So just something to think about. I'm not saying you have to take huge, massive action. I know you're busy, but I just want to point out that consistent action produces new results. And a lot of times when people get started, there's this learning curve that goes upward. And so a lot of times what happens is the people who are consistent in the beginning, they don't look like they have much effort. And then all of a sudden they start to explode upward. And this is a learning curve where people get a lot of publicity and people like, wow, they're super smart and successful and talented and all this other stuff. But what they don't see is way down here when things first got started. And that's why I'm recommending it could be something as simple as making a couple of comments throughout the week about financial aid, what you're learning, what's going on, so that over time the conversation does go up and your kids like down here ready to be like, okay, I'm ready to apply for scholarships, like I understand how important it is. And that's the importance of being consistent. So what I want to ask you is, what would your life look like if you had someone that helped you get started? What if you had someone that helped you think about, what do you need to do to get launched off at this bottom part to make it easy so that your family could rise and have this amazing growth speed in a short time? What would your life look like if someone broke it down step by step? What is it that you need to do? How do you need to do it? And they could do it for you in 5 minutes a day or less. Would you feel more confident about your ability to afford college and understanding the financial aid process? I hope so. And that's why I have an invitation for you. My invitation to you is in regards to a program that was created specifically for you as a busy parent and for your child. A parent came up to me and said, my family's really busy. My child's actively engaged in school and plays sports. And as a parent, my biggest concern is, how do I afford my kid's college? Can you make a challenge for my kid where he spends 10 minutes a day looking for scholarships, so at the end of 30 days, he has a list of scholarships he can apply to? I said, absolutely. I thought that was such a great idea because I know that there's so many other families like yours that need that help as well. And so that's why I created the Scholarship Challenge, which can be found at thescholarshipchallenge.com for $27. And the reason it's currently at $27 is because I want you to go through the program and give me your feedback so I can improve the course for other families who'll be going through it at full price. Now, the scholarship challenge does consist of two parts. There's a challenge to your child, which is the 10 minutes a day looking through scholarships. So your child will look through over 1,000 scholarships within 30 days to find the ones that they qualify for. And then the other challenge is for you as a parent to spend less than 5 minutes a day to go ahead and learn about the financial aid process, what to expect, and how you can help your child qualify for more money. And this scholarship challenge is designed for that growth learning curve that I was talking about. So you start off and get the education and understand the process and how it works, and then you start to see some incredible results by the end of the 30 days. So again, I want to encourage you to enroll at theScholarshipChallenge.com. And if you take action immediately at the time of this recording, yes, there is a bonus. The bonus is to meet two gentlemen, one by the name of Dan Everett from College Money Pro, and the other one is Daniel Hertzberg from Accelerated Educational Solutions. Both of these gentlemen have worked with thousands of families to help them get results. Dan Everett has worked with families of all income types. And what's interesting is that a lot of parents who are working class, who've gone to college, you've gotten your education, you might think that your family makes too much money to qualify for financial aid. And that's why it's really important to get engaged in a challenge like this and meet experts like Dan, because there are options and there are opportunities. And it's important to start this conversation so that you can find out more information and then apply it to your situation so that you can more easily afford college for your child. Daniel, I've been fortunate to work with a couple times throughout the year. He specializes in the academic scholarships, and there's a lot of money for academics. But it's interesting because a lot of people think you either qualify or you don't, and there's a scale, like a grading scale. And so the higher your child achieves, the more money that your child can potentially win for academic scholarships. Amazing job working with students and working with families to help them have that transformation. So at this moment in time, I'm thinking about having both of these gentlemen on a webinar, and you can submit your questions. This will help me see all the questions that come in and which questions appear the most frequently. And then I can take these questions and make a frequently asked questions section for the program for families who will be going forward and paying the full price. And then it also gives you the opportunity to ask your questions for your family. The situation is different than everybody else's. And I want to reward you for taking action. So in order to qualify for the bonus, there is a deadline, which is currently November 21st at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time. So in order to take advantage of this bonus, I encourage you to go now to theScholarshipChallenge.com and enroll your family and change your family's ability to afford college for your child. And I look forward to our paths crossing again soon.